Don't you touch that knob!
I yell at the goblin as he reaches up towards it when he thought I wasn't looking. Ever since I found out he can open the door on his own, it had me kinda paranoid about what kind of chaos he'd been causing whilst I wasn't there. I got enough to worry about without you terrorizing the neighbors. In fact, you're coming with me today. Why you got that thing with you? Johnny asks when he sees the goblin follow me into the shop. How do you even get that thing here without anyone seeing it? I wrapped it up in my sweater and carried it most of the way here. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you guys about that. Why we gotta wear these damn things all the time? They get kinda hot. It's late October and this place is like 80 degrees in the day.
It's tradition. It's been that way since the 50s. Roll up your sleeves and deal with it,
Mark said, coming around the corner. But Han don't have to wear one, I argued.
Hey, you wanna go tell him he's gotta do all that kung fu shit in a thick sweater in 80-degree heat? You go right ahead. But just know he's in mourning for his ride right now, so tread softly.
He tells me. It's not that important anyway.
Right then. So I think it's safe to say that now the book's gone, we don't have to worry about the freaky monster thing. At least for the time being. But the bad news is Tom wasn't able to figure much out before we took it back. He just said it's probably best nobody has it. So pat yourselves on the back for doing something so selfless.
He says to everyone sitting at the table as the goblin snoops around the shop.
So what's on the agenda today, boss? Business as usual, hopefully.
Actually, something came up I might need your help with. You know my place? Well, my landlord kinda vanished. Poof, by all accounts.
Holly's gone missing.
Yeah, Wait, you know her?
Yeah, I lent her the money to buy the joint not long ago.
No, wait, hold on. You're the really bad people she borrowed money from to buy the place? For her ex?
What? For her ex? Is that what she told you?
Mark suddenly bellows in laughter at my question.
Louis, she took out a huge loan from us because her credit was so far in the gutter that no respectable place would grant a loan. And she bought the place from a grieving old man whose daughter was just mauled to death. A mauling that she was partially responsible for, while she was manipulating this ex of hers to steal secrets from the company he works for.
He explained viciously as I sank down into my chair.
And you know what? Gets even better. You know Muscle's full name? Jihan Lao? The girl who got killed? Zijulie. His goddamn sister. You gullible fucking putz.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. You know what the collateral she had to put down for the loan was? If she defaulted on that shit, Muscles gets to deal with her how he wants. But that's not my problem anymore. Somebody came by a few days ago and bought her out of a debt. Cash too. Big damn bag of cash plus interest. I was so happy to take that deal I would have made Chris give him a reach around if he asked. No, it's Johnny's turn and you know it.
They all laugh as I sit there trying to process everything. I'm just in a daze while they're all goofing around and getting things set up for the start of the day. And then I started to think about the guy that I saw the night before, figuring that made more sense with some context. I was still making myself anxious.
Hey, don't worry about it. If you need a place to stay, you can use one of the drawers in the morgue. Johnny slept in one for 2 weeks one time to hide from his ex-wife.
It's true. She was horrible, and anywhere I'd go, she'd find me. But she didn't think I'd sink low enough to hide in a room full of dead bodies for 13 days. Well, I showed her.
Hey, look on the bright side. Guess this means things ain't gonna work out with you two. Want me to call Abigail for you and give her the good news?
He said with a shit-eating grin, holding his phone up with her number ready to hit dial.
No, holy shit, no!
I yelled, almost jumping over the table at him to get the phone.
Don't even play like that. That shit ain't funny.
Calm down, I ain't gonna do it. I'm just breaking your balls.
He says, waving me off him as I pawed at the hand holding the phone.
Look, kid, don't sweat nothing. You're one of the guys. We'll take care of you. If something happens, I'll make sure you get set up somewhere. Don't think I don't appreciate everything you've been doing around here since you started.
He went on, patting me on the shoulder just before...
Oi! It's Jekyll! I'll come in peace, I'll leave the bloody artillery on the table.
Comes from the other side. Mark walks over and opens the door and lets the British guy in from before. Before he walks in, I notice him check over his shoulder for something. Looks like even he's on edge. Once he's inside, Mark closes the door behind him and they start talking.
So, it's working better this time. Just the dizziness. Yeah, other than that, it's been the best so far. Way better than last time. Right, very good. Excellent news, that. So, take this and mix it in next time. That ought to help with the dizziness.
The guy tells him, handing him another small glass vial of something.
About a teaspoon ought to do the trick.
Appreciate it, Doc, Mark says as the two walk back over to the door. By the time they were so far away, I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I noticed Chris and Johnny were back to pretending not to be paying attention to the two. Once they were done, Mark walks back over to us and says,
Okay, gotta take care of some things. Chris can handle all the butchering for the orders whilst I'm out. You remember, just tell Louis what you need, and he'll get it for you.
Whoa, hey, before you go, I got a question. How do you carry that snub nose around in your sweater pocket without sagging and printing real bad? I ask him as he starts to turn around. Oh, right. For yous that don't know, printing is when you can see the shape of a concealed weapon from under someone's clothes. I like the idea, so I got one, but it's so damn awkward when it's in my pocket. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I just never asked.
'Cause it ain't in my pocket. Look,
he said, pulling the hole of the sweater pocket open to show us where he had cut a piece of the sweater out from behind it, and where we could see the revolver in its holster tucked inside his waistband. Holy shit, that's so cool, he says, examining it.
Yeah, I got the idea from Cicero on a trip to Mexico.
He told us as he fixed his pocket back into place.
Works with knives too.
I'll be damned. Now I kind of feel dumb, I says to him whilst playing with my own sweater. Hey Johnny, hand me those scissors over there. Why the hell are you here again? I ask Madison after she shows up about an hour later, even though she didn't have a delivery to pick up. It's a slow day. Things don't pick up until sun starts going down, even on a good day. That don't do much for explaining why you're here. I was bored and this place seemed more like home, than out there. Might be the accents. Who knows? She says, pushing her way through the door, her bike rolling over my shoes. Don't you got those friends back at the apartments or something you can hang out with? Nope, the ones that are there are asleep. They usually work mostly at night, she explains, plopping herself into the chair at the table. So what do you guys do here anyways? Giving up, I finish putting the rest of the packaged meat into a mini fridge and says, about the same stuff a regular mafia does, I guess. Just with the spooky types. Well, it gets a little weirder than that sometimes. We had to do a human sacrifice thing yesterday. That's still kind of weird with me. Oh, and the other night there was that. Never mind. I don't think the mafia chops up people and sells them as food. The Godfather would have been a lot crazier if they did. I'm just saying. She says as she picks up the bag fingers off the table. Also, you might want to do something with these. They look like they're starting to turn.
Aw shit, we still ain't dropped those off yet at the hotel.
Chris says he comes around the corner where the desk is.
That's a shitload of cash just sitting there collecting dust. Hold up, I'll call Mark and see if he wants you to run them up there.
So I propped myself up against the workbench once I finished wiping the blood off, and waited. After a few seconds, Chris gets this look on his face.
Oh, he didn't pick up. Must still be busy.
He says after he puts his phone away.
Okay, judgment call. Go ahead and take my car and run these up there. Bring the cash back. Just keep your eyes open. Once you're outside the hotel, you're on your own with a lot of liquid money.
Why'd you? He says as I gets up and take the keys from him. Oh, I'm coming too. I hear Madison chirp from behind me, jumping out of her seat. I've been wanting to see that place for a while now. Chris, tell her no.
Hey, what's it gonna hurt?
Chris waves me off as he flips through some papers.
Hey, Johnny, where's those receipts for the cleaning products in plastic containers?
I put them in the filing cabinet under not illegal but still suspicious. You really don't got nothing better to do? I ask as she climbs into Chris's car and tucked the bag of fingers into the glove box. Better? Not really. The other people I hang with are kind of wussies. Don't do that. Be nice. What's a sense of decency? Hey, that's a felony. A girl can only take so much. Fair enough, I says as we pull out of the alley. Geez, I feel like I've been here every day this week. I complain as we step out of the car and I kick a little piece of Hein's truck out of the way. Got the fingers? Yeah, right here. She tells me as she waves the bag around and wiggling her fingers through a set of knuckle dusters in her other hand. Where'd those come from? Borrowed them. I don't think you really need those until we at least come back with the money. You never know.
Jesus Christ, more fingers?
The short guy behind the desk shouts at us whilst we walk in, and he sees the bloody sandwich bag. 2 sets this time, chumps, I declare as Madison drops them on the desk. Show me the money. Cash too, I don't want Mark crawling up my ass for showing up with gold bricks.
Yeah, here's your damn money.
The guy says he slides the stacks across the counter.
Holy shit! That's like 4 stacks of hundreds! Whose fingers are those anyways?
Madison freaks. Some angels we got into a fight with in an alley yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Everything's kinda running together right now. I tells her as I stuff the money into her front pocket of my sweater. Which then immediately falls to the floor because it just cut the back of the pocket out. Son of a bitch. So after I pick up the cash and tuck it under my hat, we walk out. But instead of walking outside, I ran into some kind of invisible wall.
Got him!
The tall guy behind the desk bellowed as I rubbed my nose.
I have to hit this switch over here before you leave, stupid.
He says as he hits something under the desk and the door makes a clicking noise.
Otherwise, there's nothing to walk out into. You okay? You smashed your face pretty hard.
Madison asks as I start my way to the car.
Yeah, fucking punks.
I grumble, checking my reflection to see if my nose was bleeding. Let's get out of here before I go back in there, and I started to say, but my phone starts to ring. And I look to see it's Chris's number. Hey, what you need?
Back to the shop now!
He screams into my ear and hangs up. Something ain't right, I says to Madison and put the car into gear and speed off to the shop. What's going on? I shout to Chris as I barrel through the door. But he don't answer. Instead, I see him and Johnny and Han standing around looking at something. And I see Mark. His unblinking eyes staring up at the ceiling from the workbench where his body had been laid. No, hold on. This ain't right. What's going on here? Why is he like that? This shit ain't funny, guys.
Nobody's laughing, Louie. Han found her like this on the way here. Says it looks like it was beaten to death.
Chris says without looking up for Mark. Hey, what's going on? Madison repeated my words as she finally came in behind me. Is that Mark? I need to sit down, says as I pull a chair away from the table and sink down into it.
It looks like it was someone very strong. Average size hands. These 2 cuts are made by knuckles on the same hand at the same time.
I hear Hans say to Chris as he points something out to him.
Both of his legs and one of his arms were broken as well. You can see here on his sweater and his pants he used a good arm to try and drag himself along the pavement. These wounds on the side of his head, they were made by the butt of his pistol.
He added, holding up Mark's revolver.
Found next to the body. No rounds expended.
As he talked, I heard the chair slide up next to me and Madison sit down in it. She didn't say anything though. I guess she didn't feel like leaving at the time. I just sat there in silence. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something didn't seem right as I tried to think of who did it. You think it's safe to say it was the angels? Johnny asked Han.
That don't make sense, though. Louis said they weren't supposed to hurt any of us. Even that shape-shifting thing, whatever it was, said the same thing.
They didn't seem to be listening before that, Johnny argues. Seems like the likey thing. But still, it's not like the list of people who wanted Mark dead was a short one. I could throw 50 cents worth of nickels out the door and hit 10 people who would likely have done it.
What happened? Fucking fuck!
I shout as Abigail kicks the door to the shop open and barges inside. Hours later, we're still all in the shop. Once Han had decided he had learned everything he could from the body, Chris pulled Mark's torn-up sweater off him and looks through his pockets to remove anything left. He finds a small vial that Dr. Jekyll brought over earlier. The fluid still inside. Once he finished, he set everything to the side. Then we put him on one of the carts and wheeled him off into the morgue. Chris and Han lifted him up onto the sliding table to the furnace as me, Madison, and Johnny and Abigail gathered around.
You knew him the longest.
Chris says to Abigail.
You want to say something?
Well, I guess. But I still didn't know him very well. He was a really private person. But to his credit, for all his faults, he was willing to do what had to be done for the paranormal community. No matter how dirty his hands got along the way, he'd always say that someone had to do it, or it wouldn't get done.
And he hated hunters more than I'd ever seen anyone hate anything. We all mumbled in agreement.
He'd always treat me with respect. He was the first one to start calling me Miss Abigail to make me feel like an adult. And then everyone else started doing it because they heard him do it. He may have been stern and rough, but he was also fair. And I have no doubt that his absence will be felt even by people who didn't even meet him.
It's been good knowing you, boss.
Chris added before sliding him into the furnace. Hey, where are you going? I asked Han as he heads straight for the door.
We need to figure out what happened to Mark. Yes? I know a guy who might be able to help. He's good at figuring these kinds of things out.
He answered before leaving without another word. What do we do now, boss? Johnny says, handing Chris Mark's red sweater. She's right. Once word gets out, shit's going straight to hell. And Mark's not just gone either. We're a man short. Well, I might have a solution for that last one. Madison suddenly speaks up.
Hell no, absolutely not. Have you both lost your motherfucking minds?
Chris roars as he stampedes through the shop. I'm just saying she's got a point. We're one down and things are apparently about to get real hairy around here. We don't got time to hold open auditions. I try to talk Chris down.
The whole time since Dirty Work Inc. started, has never had a broad in the lineup. And even so, who's she? She's just one of those riders rolling around on a bicycle all day.
Think about it. Remember that Mark would say about a cat that don't want to be held? Yeah, she's a girl, but Mark trusted her with a drop. And let her watch the shop. And she chose violence the second she saw someone she thought was breaking into the shop. A huge guy twice her size, and she dropped him no questions asked. We ain't gonna get better than her on short notice.
Look, Louie, I got a lot more important shit to deal with right now.
I'm just saying, give her a shot. What's it gonna hurt? Hell, you can kill two birds with one stone. Get your diversity box checked by being... what's the word they use? Inclusive? I says to him.
Inclusive? What's that even mean?
She's dating some girl that lives in my apartment building. That's good for the public image. All the big companies are doing it. You put some minorities in the front and center and they say, hey, look how great we are. And that makes people like you more. I try to explain as best I can.
Do I look like I care about being inclusive?
That's the neat part. You don't. But that don't matter because you don't have to. It's all about what everybody else thinks. I go on, hoping he doesn't suddenly realize that we aren't a public-oriented company anyways. So you're gonna make me use the trump card, huh? Okay, think about this. All that riding around on the bike all day? She's got a really nice ass, and she'll be walking around here all the time.
Jesus Christ, if I say yes, will you shut the hell up and go somewhere else?
He said yes. I says to Madison, who was waiting in the alley with Han. These are yours. I add, tossing in Chris's blue sweater and new black derby hat. Kinda pissed you got yours right from the start, though. You don't maybe have a pink one to match my hair? She asks, unfolding the loose hoodie. Don't push it, tell her. That's gonna be the least of your worries here real soon. Speaking of worries, has anyone else seen my goblin? He hasn't broken anything for a while, and I'm starting to think he's planning something. No sooner than I said that, the damn thing comes staggering out of the shop. Soot all over his face and smoke coming off of him. Hopefully I'll never have to find out what you just did. I sigh down on him. Okay, come here. Pay attention. See that shit here on the bottom of their foot? I ask her the next after pulling open one of the drawers with a body in it. If there's something there, that means they've either been donated to science, they're gonna be cremated and won't nobody know the difference, or they don't have nobody who gave a fuck about them when they died. That means we can do with them as we so choose. You following me? I think so. Alright, good. So, a line means it's fresh, a day or two at most. A check means they died somewhere fancy like a hospital and they got refrigerated pretty quick. We like these the best. A circle means they ain't so fresh, and they weren't cooled down so quick. They're usually the ones that got found a few days later or something, usually when somebody started to notice a smell. We got a few customers who like these, but for the most part, we don't use these ones too often. You still with me? Yeah. Outstanding. So, what you're gonna do is we need 2 of the ones with checks tonight. You're gonna find 2 of those, put them on a cart over there, wheel them back to the shop, and then I'll tell you what you do after that. I tells her as I leave her in the morgue to figure the rest out.
Hey, we got some problems. Danny says he's got someone causing trouble down in the goblin fights.
Chris tells me once I'm back in the shop.
Guess who gets to go deal with that?
Hey, where's Mark? Danny asks when she sees me walk through the door to the warehouse. None of your business. Today you're my problem. So what's the issue? Well, promise you won't be mad? He didn't give me a choice. Says as a man in white steps out from behind the column and into the light.
It would seem that we have some current events to discuss.
The deep voice of the man from outside the hotel says,
Come, sit with me, won't you? Hello everyone, this is Nature's Temper. I just wanted to add something here at the end. So, it seems that we have a lot of fans of the Worst Verse. To be expected. So, if you're interested in talking about the lore, or even posting fan art of the Worst Verse, please check out the Worst Verse subreddit. A subreddit created by the author, Joshua Waggoner. I'm sure he'd be delighted to see you guys. And I know I personally adore seeing fan art of any of the stories I do. So feel free to post that there, or on the Nature's Temper subreddit. Both links will be in the description. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you later, you monsters.